Sustainable Surplus is a 501c3 nonprofit, and this is what we do. We turn corporate excess into community assets. So literally, we're taking surplus things out of corporations and we redirect or repurpose them into the community, schools, nonprofits, and startups. Why reuse or repurpose? And this is a question that I'm telling you we're asking corporations. It helps them be in compliance with AB 341. It supports the circular economy. I think John and Sue did a really good job of talking about that this morning. We're going to talk more about that now. It creates CSR, corporate social responsibility, and I'm going to talk about more of that in my slides. And there's a major cost savings when companies donate their surplus versus when they try to dispose of it. And last but not least, it is a tax write-off. So the missing link for us in reuse is that current commercial recycling programs aren't really addressing the hard assets, the things like furniture and equipment, the things that we're collecting. Recently, HFH did a study for the county, and they talked about this gold mine going into the landfill. And the things that they were measuring were organics, construction and demolition materials, metal, plastics, glass. And they said that the value last year was about $20 million for about 454,000 tons. We'd like this number to be expanded to include these other portions of corporate waste, the hard assets. This is what it looks like for us. This is what we're collecting. And when I first started this organization, the furniture was at 62%, and in 5 years it's grown 8%. And the value is on par with the HFH study. So when we were at about 400,000 pounds, we did about 2.2 million in the value of the assets that we kept out of the landfill. So if you multiply that tenfold, that means this particular business could also be worth another 20 million out of the landfill. Corporate social responsibility is becoming a major buzzword. I'm really happy that it is. And this is the people part of this presentation in the sense that it's all about supporting your community. It's supporting the people who are reusing the assets. It's supporting the environment, reducing the greenhouse gas emissions, and it's supporting our economy. It's in revenue and in jobs. This is what the people look like that come to our warehouse. These are real shots. And then I'm going to play a quick video for you. Our BYOB event is called the Bring Your Own Box, where we invite teachers and nonprofit leaders to come to our warehouse and get free supplies.
Today, teachers and nonprofit staff received help to cut down on classroom costs. Erica Cervantes joining us to explain why educators need these free supplies.
Well, Jason and Netta, the Bring Your Own Box event is put on by Sustainable Surplus. During the event, teachers and nonprofit staff can pick out free school supplies. On average, each educator walks out with around $200 of free supplies they normally would have to pay for themselves. Teachers and nonprofit staff lined up in Vista, ready to fill boxes with free school supplies.
School budgets are always tight, and we run a child care center. We have a lot of different needs, and things break easily, so it's great to have backup supplies.
There was a variety of classroom supplies to choose from: binders, dividers, lab equipment, trash cans, anything teachers normally pay out of pocket for.
Events like this really free up my own personal budget because we're spending our own money all the time for just little things the kids need, because families are stretched with their own money that they can't really buy their own supplies.
The Bring Your Own Box event is sponsored by Sustainable Surplus, a local nonprofit group. Companies donate office supplies they don't use anymore instead of throwing them away.
We're a great channel for them to find a new home for their things.
The event is held about 4 to 6 times a year. The nonprofit is working on expanding so more teachers and nonprofit leaders can take advantage.
We'd ideally like to have locations in different places in the county because, as you know today, people came from as far away as Tecate.
Teachers say receiving free supplies is a huge help, especially because they can stock up on things that can be pretty expensive.
We need some supplies that aren't necessarily what everybody would think. Like, I'm really excited to find the unique stuff like the floor seats. A lot of our students have physical disabilities, so it hurts them to sit in chairs for a long time. And buying beanbag chairs and things like that is really hard.
There is another Bring Your Own Box event in late October. For more information, just go to the Sustainable Surplus website. We put a link on our website, cw6sandiego.com.
There were over 220 teachers that showed up that day, and it was that crazy. So the last part of corporate social responsibility is the environment. As we all know, reuse conserves our natural resources, and the diversion is helping reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. We are now at 600,000 pounds that we've diverted from the landfill, which is the equivalent of 464 metric tons of CO2 emissions. And these statistics are from CalRecycle. Thank you. So this is our diversion by category. You can see it's heavily weighted in furniture. In pounds per year. Every year it's gone up. 2015, it took a dip, not because there wasn't more for us to handle, but we ran out of space. So corporate social responsibility also supports the circular economy that we were talking about, and I'm going to talk a bit more about in our next presentation, but it's all about companies sharing their raw materials. It supports those in need, the teachers, the nonprofits, the startups that don't have the money to go out and buy new, and they shouldn't have to go out and buy new because the items that we have definitely extra use in them. And it creates jobs. It's the channels like us and Goodwill, Habitat, Subi. It's the refurbishers and the repair people. It's the recyclers, and it's the startups. This is feeding their startup ability. So this is from the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, and they were predicting 100,000 extra jobs by 2019. That's only 2 years away. So according to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, 50% of companies are already engaging in green technologies or practices, to eliminate the creation of waste. And it's in their operations. What we'd like to see them add is, into these practices, reduce their surplus. And I'm just announcing here today that we're changing our name. We will be calling ourselves Reuse for Good. We feel that really speaks closer to our mission. I think sustainable surplus is awesome for environmental practice and purpose, but I hope that you'll help create the buzz. And so we'll be called Reuse for Good.